Hello aviators, welcome back to the Finer Points. In this video I want to give you guys some tips on how to deal with simulated engine failures, or real engine failures for that matter. You can kind of divide this into two parts. First part you can practice at home. This is what I call the sort of rote knowledge aspect of a simulated engine failure or a real engine failure. It's the old ABCs that we hear, right? Airspeed, best field, check systems, declare the emergency, and if you can't fix it, prepare to exit the airplane. When you're flying out there in the real world, it's the goal that you kind of think of yourself like a monkey swinging from vine to vine, right? So you're always thinking, I know where the surface winds are coming from, so I would be landing there, I would be landing there, I would be landing there, until you can't land there anymore, and then you're looking ahead to the next spot. Okay, now I would be going there, now I would be going there, because if you think about the A, B, C, D, E thing, the first two, A and B, really should happen together. When the engine fails, you should hold your pitch attitude and start slowing to your glide speed as you turn toward your best field. What you don't want to do is what my student and I did on a recent flight when we were practicing this. Look at how much time we waste trying to figure out where the heck we're even going.
So just imagine you just lost the engine.
Get my best glide, 65.
Remember, best glide's pitch level, so you're sort of diving at the ground here. Hold your speed. Don't give away the altitude, right?
Yep.
Like you want to protect it. It's about right there.
First spot. Good spots down right over here.
Yep.
Wondering if that one or that other one over there would be a little bit better.
Just for today, just pick one. I don't even care.
Got it. So I think I'm going to do, I will pick that further one over there.
Okay.
All right, so if you can do that first part together, if you can hold your pitch, you know where you're headed, you're turning toward your best field, the rest of this checking system stuff is also something you can practice at home. We're flying a 172M model in this aircraft, so the first thing is carb heat on. Check that the mixture's where you want it, the fuel tank selector, make sure you go to the right, and then over to the left. In a real situation, you'd then go to off if you couldn't fix the problem, but then you want to make sure that the primer's in and locked, the magnetos are on, and that's just about it. Now, altitude permitting, you should run an emergency checklist to make sure that you didn't miss anything. And if you can't solve the problem there, practice declaring the emergency, mayday, 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 all traffic in the area, white Skyhawk going down 10 miles, whatever your position is, practice that call so you can get it out of the way. And then you tell yourself, I'm going to secure the engine. The mixture comes out, the fuel goes to off, the doors go open, and the magnetos get turned off. This Cessna has electric flaps, so after we use flaps, we'll turn off the electrical system. Now, all of that stuff, we haven't even started practicing the real skill. So that's stuff you want to work on at home. You should be able to bang through that pretty expeditiously, all right? So that you can focus now on the actual skill of putting this airplane where it needs to be without anybody getting injured. So on the way out to the practice area, my student says to me, hey, what about that field? And this is a picture of the field that he pointed to, and it would work just fine. When you're visualizing how to approach a field like this, remember the key position. Remember when you turn base and you're on a 45-degree angle to the approach end to the numbers, that's the position that the FAA calls the key position, and it truly, truly is the key to success here, assuming you line up into the wind. From that key position, you can start to make judgments about how high you are in relation to your landing site, but you're not getting any closer to it. You can continue to descend while flying perpendicular to the landing site. You can deploy flaps if you need to shed off altitude. Yet, if you're low, you can turn directly toward it at any time. You have an infinite number of options for turning final. You can even overshoot the final if you have to, if you know you're too high, and execute a steep turn back toward the potential landing strip. As long as you don't load the wings or try to hold your altitude, your stall speed will be just fine, and this is something that should be practiced. So next time you go out with a CFI, and I think all of us could benefit from this practice, so hopefully that is soon, remember, the rote stuff is stuff you can work on at home. It's stuff that you should get through pretty quickly with your CFI so that you can turn your attention to how am I going to land this airplane in that little field. And you can use a runway for that. Just power off at the abeam position or power off in the downwind, glide to the runway, and measure your success. So I hope that that helps you guys out. If you want more tips on how to be successful, click the link in the description. We have a new pilot roadmap. The Finer Points pilot roadmap will help you save money in flight training, be effective in flight training, be efficient in flight training, and be the best pilot you can be. I'm Jason Miller. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that little alert bell so you get notified of uploads. But most importantly, until I see you again, be safe and fly your best.